If you look at the world today, basketball is everywhere, from professional arenas filled with thousands of fans to small courts in neighborhoods, schools, and streets across continents. And at the center of this global sport stands the National Basketball Association, widely known as the NBA, a league that has become one of the most influential sports organizations in history, shaping not only athletics, but also culture, entertainment, and identity. Yet the strange truth behind the NBA is that it did not begin as a single powerful league with a clear vision, but rather as the result of competition, instability, and eventually a merger between two struggling organizations trying to survive. To understand this story, it is important to go back to the origins of basketball itself, a sport invented in 1891 by James Naismith, who created the game as a way to keep students active indoors during the winter, using a simple setup involving a ball and a peach basket, a design that would evolve over time into the fast-paced game we know today. As the sport grew in popularity, it spread across schools, colleges, and communities, eventually becoming a professional activity. But the path from a simple game to a global league was far from straightforward. In the early 20th century, professional basketball was fragmented, with multiple leagues and teams operating independently, often struggling with organization, financial stability, and consistent competition. And it was not until the mid-1940s that a more structured attempt to create a major professional league emerged, with the formation of the Basketball Association of America, or BAA, in 1946. The BAA was established with a clear strategy to place teams in major cities and use large arenas, often shared with hockey teams, to attract bigger audiences and bring legitimacy to professional basketball. At the same time, another league existed, known as the National Basketball League, or NBL, which had been operating for several years and featured strong teams, experienced players, and a more established structure, but was primarily based in smaller cities and industrial towns. While the NBL had talent and history, the BAA had access to larger markets and better venues, creating a situation where both leagues had strengths, but neither was dominant enough to fully control professional basketball. This competition between the two leagues created a period of instability. As teams and players moved between them, salaries fluctuated, and both organizations struggled to establish themselves as the definitive authority in the sport. Fans were divided, resources were stretched, and the lack of unity limited the growth of professional basketball as a whole. Because instead of building a single strong league, the sport was split between competing systems. Recognizing that this division was unsustainable, leaders from both leagues began to consider a solution that would change everything. A merger that would combine their strengths, unify their teams, and create a single organization capable of growing the sport on a larger scale. In 1949, this merger became a reality, bringing together the BAA and the NBL to form a new entity, the National Basketball Association. The creation of the NBA marked a turning point, but it did not immediately guarantee success, because the new league still faced challenges, including financial instability, limited national attention, and competition from other sports that were more established at the time. However, over the following decades, the NBA began to evolve, driven by the emergence of star players, improved organization, and the expansion of teams into new markets. As television became more widespread, the NBA found new ways to reach audiences, turning games into events that could be watched and followed beyond the arena. And as the level of competition increased, so did the appeal of the sport, attracting fans from different backgrounds and regions. Players became icons, teams developed identities, and rivalries added excitement, creating a narrative that extended beyond individual games and into a broader cultural context. One of the most significant aspects of the NBA's growth was its ability to adapt, to change rules, improve presentation, and embrace innovation. ensuring that the game remained fast-paced, engaging, and accessible to new audiences. And this adaptability played a key role in transforming basketball from a regional sport into a global phenomenon. Today, the National Basketball Association is more than just a league. It is a global brand, with players recognized worldwide, games broadcast across continents, and influence that extends into fashion, music, and popular culture, demonstrating how far the sport has come from its fragmented beginnings. And yet, what makes this story truly remarkable is how it began, not with unity, but with division, not with strength, but with competition, and how those challenges ultimately led to a solution that allowed the sport to grow beyond what either league could have achieved alone. And perhaps that is the real lesson hidden within the strange origin of the NBA, because it shows that sometimes growth does not come from avoiding conflict, but from resolving it, from bringing together different strengths to create something stronger, and from recognizing that collaboration can achieve what competition alone cannot. And yet, what makes the story of the National Basketball Association even more compelling is not simply how it was formed, but how it transformed itself over time. Because while the merger between the Basketball Association of America and the National Basketball League created the foundation, it did not guarantee success, and the league still had to evolve, adapt, and redefine itself in order to become the global force it is today. In its early years, the NBA faced numerous challenges, including financial instability, limited media coverage, and competition from other sports that were already deeply established, forcing the league to think creatively about how to grow its audience and improve its product. One of the most significant turning points came with the emergence of star players who not only excelled on the court, but also captured the imagination of fans, turning games into experiences that extended beyond the sport itself. As these athletes became symbols of skill, determination, and identity, drawing attention to the league and helping to build a connection between the game and its audience. This connection was further strengthened by the rise of television, which allowed games to be broadcast to a wider audience, transforming basketball from a local event into a national and eventually global spectacle. As the league grew, it continued to refine the way the game was played, introducing rules and structures that enhanced its pace, competitiveness, and entertainment value, ensuring that it remained engaging for both players and viewers. And this willingness to adapt became one of the defining characteristics of the NBA, allowing it to stay relevant in a constantly changing environment. The league also expanded its reach by adding new teams, entering new markets, and embracing international talent, turning basketball into a truly global sport that transcended geographical boundaries. At the same time, the NBA became more than just a sports organization, evolving into a cultural phenomenon that influenced music, fashion, and social trends, as players became icons whose impact extended beyond the court, shaping the way people dressed, spoke, and expressed themselves, creating a unique intersection between sports and culture that set the NBA apart from other leagues. This cultural influence further amplified the league's visibility and appeal, attracting new audiences and strengthening its position as a global brand. Another key factor in the NBA's success has been its ability to build narratives, not just around individual games, but around seasons, rivalries, and careers, creating stories that fans can follow and connect with over time, adding depth and meaning to the sport. These narratives transform basketball from a series of isolated events into an ongoing story, where each game contributes to a larger journey, making the experience more engaging and memorable. The league's commitment to innovation has also played a crucial role in its growth, as it has consistently embraced new technologies, platforms, and ideas to enhance the way the game is experienced, from advanced analytics and training methods to digital media and global broadcasting, ensuring that it remains at the forefront of both sports and entertainment. This forward-thinking approach has allowed the NBA to not only adapt to changes in the world, but to actively shape the future of sports. And yet, despite all of its success and evolution, the core of the NBA's story remains rooted in its origin, in the merger that brought together two competing leagues, in the recognition that unity could achieve what division could not, and in the understanding that growth often requires change, collaboration, and the willingness to rethink existing structures. This foundation continues to influence the league's approach, reminding us that even the most successful systems are built on moments of transformation. When you look at the NBA today, with its global reach, its influence on culture, and its role in shaping the future of sports, it is easy to see it as a finished product, a fully realized system that has always existed in its current form. But the reality is far more complex, because its journey has been one of continuous development, adaptation, and reinvention, reflecting the broader patterns of growth and change that define many aspects of human activity. So the next time you watch a basketball game, whether it is played in a packed arena or on a court in a local community, it is worth remembering that the league behind it began not as a unified powerhouse, but as a response to division, a solution to fragmentation, and a vision of what could be achieved when different parts come together to form something greater than themselves. And that is the deeper story behind the strange origin of the NBA. A story that goes beyond the game itself, revealing how collaboration, adaptation, and vision can transform a fragmented beginning into a global phenomenon, shaping not only a sport, but a culture that continues to evolve and inspire people around the world.